you need somebody in your corner, in your circle that's going to help motivate you and push you to
Hold you
go
accountable.
through and hold you accountable to go through
Yep.
those rough patches because they are going to come.
Absolutely.
They are going to come. It's a part of the process.
Welcome to our podcast, It's About Payroll. We're your hosts, Brian Escobar and Walter William Duncan III. Whether you're new to the payroll game or a seasoned veteran, we have something for you.
Welcome back, folks. This is episode 100.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that Ric Flair. Woo! Man.
Yeah, man.
Congratulations, Walt.
Congratulations.
You know what I mean?
Right back at you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, man. And look, we just, I think it's one of the things that's helped us out there is just being consistent. Consistent, man. What's up? What's up, bro? How you feeling, man? It's 100.
Man, I am proud of ourselves. Proud of that we quit, that we kept going, that even though there were the tough parts of it and everything, and trying to navigate work, life, and business, and just trying to navigate all those things. I'm really just proud of us that we made it through and stuff because we had those conversations, and we'll talk a little bit about that later because in the safe talk topic, we'll get into it, man, and discuss those things. But man, I'm just happy, bro. How about you? How are you feeling?
I'm good, man. I'm making sure my headphones. You feel me all right?
Yeah,
I don't
you're
see
good.
my little volume thing clicking on the side, my view meter. But all right, good. We good.
Yeah.
Man, same, bro. What's that stat you told me? And we've talked about it, over the
Oh,
past years with the 7 episodes or something. Most podcasts stop in 7 episodes or 8
I think it's like 3 episodes or something like that.
Oh, God. Oh, that's right. We did find one that said 3, folks. I think from episode 1, we just imagined people would listen, even if there was 0 folks listening. We just kept going. We had 1 million listeners, and that's what changed it for us. Just kept the consistent. And then eventually, you all, I keep saying guys, sorry about that. You all good people, payrollers, started like reaching out. Hey, keep going. Hey, I like it. Hey, keep going. Do your thing. And then we got the amazing Gerard Hall. That, guys, I just found your podcast. Like I've been following, we both been following Gerard for years. And it's for him to reach out and say that, not that anybody else's word is not, but he's also an influencer in the payroll game. So it was like, oh my gosh, Gerard, oh wow. And then other folks, and it was just, man, I don't want to say too much. I'm gonna get emotional.
Then, man, like we should feel the emotion. Those emotions are good. We should be proud of ourselves. We've had some wonderful guests from Gerard Hall to Christina at Valor, Franzioli, Adrian, and every guest that we've ever had on, Melissa, Tabitha Brown, America's Mom, like having her on, like everybody that we've had on has contributed to our success, has fed us knowledge, and to come on and share their wealth of knowledge, us and the world. It's amazing, man. Like we have to be proud of that. And I'm humble. I'm proud to be doing this with you, bro. We talked about this years ago when we first worked together at our other job that we were at. That's right. We talked about it, and then years later, after like reconnecting and stuff like that, we finally said, "Hey, let's do this." And we were passionate about it. We didn't know how this thing was going to go. Didn't know. We just kept at it.
And you said the word right there. That's what folks really feel and see is our passion for this. You know what I mean? And that's hopefully that's one of the things that's changed the game for us. And look, we're going to keep going. Thanks to you all. Thanks to the feedback. Thanks to our sponsors, TrakGO.
Yes.
Shout out to TrakGO, just believing in us and partnering with us on growth. Like they're building something new. We're building something new. It was amazing. TimeTrack as a company has been around for 40 years, but you got to reinvent, you got to rebrand. Like they have such a legacy to build on.
That good old wooden time clock.
That good old wooden time clock that they was first using. No, it wasn't him though, but they bought. It wasn't them. And we're gonna have him back on just to cover best practices. Like, why is a time and attendance system important? What does it do for you?
Having the right time and attendance system.
Thank you, sir. Because we talk about it like, oh, it's a must. But why? What is it for the younger payrollers, like the newer payroller? Why is the right, like you said, one important? So we're going to have them back on again. The first time they were on, peep that episode. That was great. We went into a whole history of time and attendance. I love learning about history. So that was crazy. We talked about the wooden time clock that
that
Brian,
was crazy.
his name is Brian Z, and Chris, that they were telling us about. Man, just again, all the support has been amazing. It's what's gotten us here. Just the evolution of things. Look at where we are now. When you first started watching us, we were in this dark, and we thought it was amazing,
Purples,
right?
yeah.
That dark purple background, and it was cool for us. It was great.
Yeah.
We went to video, right? Well, first of all, back up. When we first started, it was audio only.
Yeah.
So you didn't see this
Just
at
the
all.
audio.
And that was like for the first 40 something episodes. And then we went to video, and then it's been an evolution from there. We used to use Zoom as a background and it worked just fine, we thought.
Shout out Brian at Bigger Creative.
Yes, Brian at Bigger Creative.
Creating these great images and this branding for us.
Yep.
And, you know,
absolutely.
Man, it's been a hell of a journey.
Yeah, it is. And I was actually wanted to bring up Brian when we had my daughter on, because Brian was on site for that video that we did with Brianna when she was 9. He was there.
Wow.
Yeah, he was there. He helped me build the heartlets back in the day.
Wow.
This episode is presented by TrakGO, the simply better employee time clock software that is going to make your life easier. In addition to the unique graphical employee time card that helps you quickly identify and fix mistakes, TrakGO is excited to announce it's now compatible with QuickBooks Desktop, providing effortless data transfer and reduced errors. TrakGO will not only save you time and money each week, but the easy to understand user interface and the ability to turn a tablet into a time clock will get you and your team up and going in just minutes. Find out what a simply better solution can do for your business. To learn more and sign up for your 14-day free trial, go to www.timetrakgo.com. That's www.timetrakgo.com. Or you can call 888-321-9922. That's 888-321-9922. Let's go.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. So it was, Brianna had her kind of showcase, so I didn't want to. So for those of you who don't know, on our other show, It's About Your Paycheck, we had my oldest daughter on. She's 20. And if you really want to get an insight on how this young workforce is thinking about the workforce, peep that episode. It's very eye-opening and definitely gives you insight how young people are viewing the workforce. I'm going to drop some clips on LinkedIn too and point to it, because I think recruiters need to look at this, and if they haven't already, and if they haven't had any information from the field like that from young people, I think it has a wealth of knowledge in there. So yeah, man. So what are we doing for the 100? What are we doing for the 100 episode? We had to do something nice. Chris from Time Track was like, "What are you guys going to do?" And I was like, he asked me months ago too, right? And I was like, I don't know. We don't know yet. We can't.
We talked about it. We had so many different ideas that we were bouncing off of each other. Oh, let's do this,
Yes.
let's do that. We used a wonderful app, AudioJest, to help us create key action items and stuff like that. It's really helpful. So eventually we're going to put that out there. But in today's episode, we're going to go through our top 5 episodes that we liked personally over the last couple of seasons.
99 episode. Yeah. So this is 100. So we went, it's really 99. We did a bonus, right? We took a bonus.
I did
the
100. Bonus. Yeah.
So we're going to give you, so again, just to reiterate what Walt said, we summarized and we're going to put out a document for everyone of the first 100 episodes, what was important in each episode, a summary of it. It'll be such a cheat code for payrollers to look at and be like, ooh, I can go to this episode and learn about this topic and zero in on what things and what, or just read it and you're going to gain from it. What a cheat sheet it'll be. We wanted to give folks something short of giving everybody $100. Well, there's $100 worth of information in this document.
Absolutely.
And it'll be out very shortly this week, the week following this episode airing. It will be out on LinkedIn. It'll be out on our website. And from that, we picked our favorites, right?
Yep.
As we got the honor of just going back through it and the exercise of going back through it and recreating these little nuggets for folks. But through that, we were like, oh my gosh, what are our favorites?
Yeah.
What are our favorites?
Hey, I like them. We like them all. So no offense.
Oh my God, yes.
Your episode is out.
Thank
we
you.
love
Yeah.
everything that we do, but this is just something that we didn't want to make it. We could talk about all the episodes. We chose
we wanted
number
to.
5. We set it on 5.
It would have been 100-hour long show though.
that was my idea. I was like, hey, let's go through all episodes and
all of we can't.
Let's do it all. And so before we get into it, man, we have a couple of news updates for you. Brian,
don't forget the news.
You got to start off with yours, man.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. I almost forgot. So mine comes out of a company called Payroll Integrations. And this one is dear to my heart because I've been spending so much time working on payroll, 401k, cleanup, and just really honing my expertise on 401k for a while. It was needed. And it is what it is. It is as a payroll professional, as an HR professional, you stretch and reach as you need to. You get the opportunity to. Like, it's a blessing to stretch. It's a blessing to do these things. One of the new things that I've been honored to do is teach a payroll mastery class. And that's when I'm just telling folks out there, shout out to Career Learning. If you guys are interested in taking a course, I'm teaching a course there. Go to Career Learning. There's 2 more coming up. And I'm just encouraging folks like you have to stretch beyond what you're doing if you want to grow, right? Something that hit me very
yes, you want to say
hard. That's so right. Hit me. Yeah, we are on the same wavelength. If you're comfortable, you're not growing, right? If you're just so comfortable in your position and every breezy, easy, then you're not growing. Now that may be fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to grow, and if you want to keep stretching, you got to stretch to grow. You got to be uncomfortable to grow. This article really hit home for me because it's about 401k process. Now, a little quick nugget about Payroll Integrations. That's the name of the company.
Mm-hmm.
And they're a technology company that's reimagining how employers support employees' financial well-being through benefit automation. This is also a trending topic as we move through the space right now in payroll and benefits that folks are worrying about employees' financial well-being. So Payroll Integration platform is used by more than 4,000 businesses to connect payroll with retirement, HSA, and other employer-sponsored benefit plans for over 1 million employees. Payroll providers including ADP, Paychex, QuickBooks Online, and others use payroll integrations to seamlessly connect with 401k benefit providers such as Empower, Transamerica, Principal, Voya, and John Hancock. Payroll Integrations is backed by Arthur Ventures and headquartered in San Diego. The article covers an automation that's a time-consuming process. So TPAs no longer have to track down documents and data across various sources and piece them together because the company has built integrations with the largest and most widely used payroll companies and benefit providers in the U.S., including ADP, QuickBooks, Empower, Transamerica. These TPAs can obtain accurate data reports for year-end compliance testing at any time. Now, why that? I can tell you firsthand why that is a game changer, because right now, if in the normal case, there's 3 parties when you're dealing with 401k and the auditing: your TPA, your record keeper, and yourself, the client, right? Now, there's a variation of how those 3 parties can look, but it's at least 2 or 3 parties that have to coordinate to get an audit done. Now, what this is saying, you don't need whoever's performing this audit, the TPA responsible for doing the audit, doesn't need to reach out to me and go back and forth and say, Brian, I need this and you need that, and go back and this the wrong report and I need all that. And it's a long process to the tune of months, right? It's not due until July, but you start in January. So think about that. It's a 6.5 month process that you go through to finish a 401k audit. And a lot of it is because we have to go back and forth and we do not have this tool. That is a lot of, so that just hit them. I was like, oh my God,
that's a lot of,
you know what it is. Like so Payroll Integrations is that company. If you're involved in this process, look out and go see if you can use them because they're doing some big things. Thanks, Walt.
Nice, man. That's a great article. That is big.
It's a game changer. Yeah.
My article is from getnukes.org, and it's about employee turnover cost statistics. I thought it was interesting to go over. So I think there's about 14 or 13 topics to go over really quick. The article provides a comprehensive overview of the financial impact of employee turnover. So here's a breakdown of the key points. Point number 1 is the employee turnover cost. So employee turnover costs can cost employers up to 33% of an employee's annual salary. Yeah. Underlying the significance of retaining talent and fostering a stable work environment. So, man, that's basically a third of someone's annual salary. So if someone makes $100,000, that's over $30,000 that it's going to cost.
It's going to cost to replace them. People don't realize that.
If you're in a industry or a business that had high turnover, put that into focus for you.
Yep.
So number 2, global economic impact. Companies lost $1 trillion due to voluntary turnover in 2019, emphasizing a substantial economic impact of turnover costs on the global economy. So think about that. Globally, back in 2019, this turnover costs $1 trillion. Companies. That's more than some companies' GDP.
Yeah.
Some countries.
I'm going to say most companies. Yes.
Countries' GDP.
No doubt.
Number 3, direct replacement cost. Direct replacement costs can reach as high as 50 or 60% of an employee's annual salary, showcasing the financial burden of hiring, onboarding, and lost productivity. So think about that. That's basically saying I was to leave and they brought somebody in to fill my seat, that direct replacement cost of that can be 50 or 60% of my salary, because the person has to go through hiring, onboarding, and they have to learn the job.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? If I'm gone and I'm not there to train them, like they have to learn everything that I've done. And, so that you have to take that into consideration. Number 4, productivity impact. High-performing employees are 400% more productive than average ones. So wait, you're telling me that high-performing employees are basically 4 employees compared to the one average one? 400% more productive. So think about that. So when you lose a high-performing person, you lose that productivity and you lose that level of work. And I don't think companies actually realize that.
Yeah.
Profitability. Number 5, companies with high turnover rates have 4 times less profit than those with low turnover rates, highlighting the correlation between turnover and reduced profitability. I mentioned that earlier. Companies with high turnover rates have 4 times less profit. That can be a lot. Depending on the industry you're in. Number 6, new hire productivity. It can take up to 2 years for an employee to reach the productivity of an existing staff member. Yes. Showcasing the long-term impact of turnover and productivity. Again, that new hire that you brought in has to learn everything, especially if they're high performing. The person who left is a high performer. The person they're replacing them can take up to 2 years, according to this statistic. Yep. So, man, that's crazy. Replacement costs. I think this is just a rehash of what I spoke about earlier.
Yep.
Average businesses spend about a third of a worker's salary to hire a replacement if that employee leaves, indicating the hidden cost of turnover. Number 8, preventable turnover. Staggering 77% 77% of turnover could be prevented by employers, highlighting the importance of retention strategies. Wow. You're telling me that basically 3/4 of turnovers that happen could be prevented if their current employers did things to maintain or to keep the high performing workers, man. Like that tells me that there's a disconnect between companies and their workers and how they retain them.
Absolutely.
Number
Retention's
9.
a big topic.
Yeah, man. Number 9, total turnover costs. U.S. employers are paying almost over $600 billion in turnover costs annually. Wow. Emphasizing the need for businesses to take turnover seriously. That's crazy, man.
Yep.
Lost productivity. Crazy. Number 10, lost productivity due to new hire learning curves can range from 1% to 2.5% of total business revenues, illustrating the financial impact of turnover on profitability. I mean, 1%, 1 to 2.5% may not seem like a lot to some people, but for a business, that could be a lot of money. Right?
If your revenue is $100 million a year, your revenue is $1 billion a year. That's a huge number.
$10 million, yeah.
Yep.
Number 11, replacement costs by job type. Sales and customer service roles are among the highest turnover jobs, costing companies significant investments in hiring and training new employees. So there has to be a way for those type of industries to keep retention and make sure that those people are happy in those type of environments. And go ahead.
No, yeah, but for that specifically, sales and customer service, I could speak to sales for sure because I was in an environment at one point where the sales folks, they brought in new sales folks and they already had a predetermined amount that they were willing to spend on this salesperson in salary. So it was like 3 months of salary. If they didn't produce in those first 3 months, they were let go. Done. So you had your probation. Yeah, you had your probation period to get a sale. I forget what the quota was, like what they had to do in that first 3 months to actually prove, okay, I can do this, and then let it be like keep reinvesting in this employee. Yeah, man. And I seen plenty of them come and go in my time that was there because it was only 3 months at a time, and they would just come in 3 months, no deal. Oh, hey, walking papers. But that was a kind of like they just spent. That was just spent investment. That's turnover cost. It's hey, I'm going to put this however many few thousands of dollars into this employee. If they don't work, I'm going to just hire another one and do it. And they didn't get any revenue back from that. So I get it.
So you can understand. Okay, gotcha. So number 12, the cost of losing an employee. Cost of losing a salaried employee can often be 6 to 9 months of salary on average, indicating a comprehensive financial impact of turnover. So for salary folks, 6 to 9 months of their salary on average. Think about that.
It's a lot.
Man, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So number 13, which is the last point, and then I'll go to the conclusion. The average turnover cost. The average cost of employee turnover is about $15,000 per worker, highlighting the financial burden on businesses. So if you have a business that is just churning and burning through these turnovers, think about that. And the average cost is $15,000 per worker that you turn over. Ugh, man, that's a lot.
Yeah,
that's a whole boatload of money. So in conclusion, understanding turnover costs stats is crucial for businesses as it emphasizes the importance of retention strategies for workforce stability, productivity, and overall business prosperity. Each point serves to underscore the most multifaceted and significant financial implications of employee turnover, urging businesses to prioritize retention strategies for long-term success.
Dope. Thank you for sharing that, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now we could get into the fun stuff right now.
Yeah, let's get into it, man.
Our favorite episodes. Walt's going to start it off and talk about his. We each pick 5 of our favorite.
Yeah, we each pick 5.
Not even favorite. It's just something that really stood out.
Yeah.
And, something, right? Like it's a really good takeaway from the 100. Now, again, you're going to be able to read through the 100 and see what it's all in. And have fun with it. But these are the ones that really stood out for us. So
yeah,
go ahead.
So this is not in a particular order. So it's not ranked like, oh, this is my number 1. Like,
but tell the episode number
like
too, though.
No, I am.
Okay.
So it's not ranked in a particular order, but
Yeah, no, mine aren't either.
The first one I came up with was episode 37, our very first true payroll crime story, Mystery at the Museum. This one was exciting because it was something new. Brian had this idea, you know what? He was watching some podcast. He was like, you know what? We should do true payroll stories and stuff like that. And it was a story about how this guy in Chicago at the museum named Michael Murillo embezzled over $2 million over a 13-year, and the lifts that he went to get this done, how he was changing employee information, going in and like posting the payroll and then going back and changing this information in like a banking system or whatever. It was crazy stuff that he was doing. So please go check it out. It was one of my favorite episodes, the very first true payroll crime story that we did. I love that one. Another episode that we did was episode number 18, HR and Payroll, Two Sides of the Same Coin. I particularly love this one because we had two of our current coworkers on, Amanda Neighbors and Brooke Blanker, and they shared their experiences and insights on the different dynamics between HR and payroll. And they basically talked about the need for us to collaborate and work with each other and to give each other that mutual respect between departments and how important communication is. So I really enjoyed that one. We tried to get Amanda. You still owe us some commercials and stuff like that.
That's right. Your voice. Get that voice.
So,
yes.
Come on, Amanda. Come through.
Silky, smooth voice you got going on. And just, I'm sorry, just to chime back on those two, the Mystery at the Museum, I went on and looked real quick if there was any follow-up. Because one of the things we do want to do, we were just talking about, we were like, wait a minute, we covered a lot of true crimes that they weren't convicted yet. They were indicted. They were in court still, sentencing pending. So we're going to try to follow up on some of this and see if there's any updated information. But so I just looked real quick. My bad. But yeah, that was such a fun episode. And it was, and I say it loosely. Every time I say fun with the true payroll crime, I cringe myself because I'm like, oh, that's not what I mean. It's
man,
not fun
it is fun, man. Whatever. It is fun. Stop. It's fun for us because we get to do the research
as consumers. Yes, man. Yeah. That's the fun part, learning about it. I still get surprised at how much true payroll crime out there is, because at first we were like, ooh, we're not even going to find enough. And then now it's more like we could just do it forever if we needed to. And we will.
Doing some shady stuff all the time.
And that's human nature. Human nature, man. Just the human experience that still shocks me sometimes. So that one was amazing.
Especially in today's economy.
Oh,
I bet there's a bunch of people doing some shady stuff.
Well, that was another episode we did, was the rise in cybersecurity crime. That was in my section too, because I just did that one, meaning it's episode 50 to 99. Walt did the first 49. I did 50 to 99, and we did a bonus as well. It's in there, and that cybercrime is going to get to $10.5 trillion in attacks and revenue for the hackers.
It's going to be up over 300%.
Crazy. So that was again, true payroll crime. Awesome stuff. It's it's a great part of the show, I think. And then the second one you're talking about with two sides of the same coin. Yep. Say that all the time with HR and payroll. And this is like one of the first companies, or one of the only companies that I've been at, where it's not a fight. We get along. We're one team. We work together. We actually are two sides of the same coin. And we're not fighting each other. We're working for the greater good of our employees.
It's the culture. It's the culture that they established. That's collaboration.
Everybody wants, and I go back to my Game of Thrones vernacular, but everybody really truly wants to serve the realm, like the employees. We're doing it all for the greater good. Nobody's, I'm going to step over you to get what I need because I want to grow. No, it's not even about that. I think when you can get a company to get the employees focusing on supporting each other, that is what it's about.
It's not a dog. It's not a dog eat dog.
Eat dog.
You know what I'm saying? No. It's not, hey, you versus them, us versus them type of mentality. It's like, hey, let's all together, one mission, one goal. Let's
one mission, one goal. That's it. Yep, that's it. Yeah.
Well, man. Thanks for that, bro.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Number 3 for me, episode 40, Global Payroll with Melissa Vicioso. I believe that this was our first global payroll episode.
Yeah.
And Melissa came in, and she just, she was a rock star. We would love to have her back on. And,
she big times me now. She's big time for me now.
She's
I
too busy.
chasing her down. What's going on? She big timing me. We'll have her back on again one day.
Yeah, she highlighted the importance of research
you,
and
Melissa.
preparation for business owners for a global payroll. And she emphasized like time management and the struggles and the challenges with communication, language barriers, all the different compliance requirements, everything that goes into global payroll. She covered, and she has a wealth of knowledge. At the time, she had over 12 years of experience. So I think it's been a year or so since we recorded with her. So now it's 13, 14 years now.
Yeah.
And she has a wonderful resume, and you should go check her out on LinkedIn. But yeah, global payroll, Melissa Viso. So that was one of my favorite as well. Anything to add before I go to the next one?
No, she actually did 2 shows with us, right? Because she came back on again and she did sports payroll.
Yeah,
she used to do for an NBA team and taught us a whole nother different discipline of payroll. Like
that was crazy.
Yep.
Melissa's awesome,
man.
Yep. All right, number 4, episode 36: How to navigate bankruptcy from the business and payroll point of view. Franzioli. Man, the Franzioli is another guru when it comes to payroll. And this was an interesting episode because I had never been through a company that had gone bankrupt. So it was fascinating to get her insight on this and what actually went through and how she handled it and how the business handled it. And one of the things that stuck out to me is that the business kept the employees informed in this case. And they let them know, hey, what was going on? Hey, this is what's going to happen. This is what we're going to. They actually took care of the employees and made sure that payrolls were done. They maintained compliance with labor laws and tax laws. And they handled third-party sick pay and 401k issues. And so Fran just providing all that information. And Fran, we love to have you back on. Come back on, please. And it was invaluable, the information that she gave us and everything. She gave some best practices for this process, bankruptcy, from a business and payroll. Anything to add before I go to my last one?
No, she's in my standouts as well. Fran, you come out twice in this. She was been on the show at least 2 times.
Yeah.
She's a confidant that for me, and we've helped each other in just day-to-day stuff. She's a powerhouse, a rock star in payroll, man. And I actually thought about her for something recently. Yeah, Fran, we're going to be reaching out soon.
And then I had to pick a 50th episode just to balance it out for 100 episodes. And it was from a different show that we used to have. We changed the segments of our show now. It used to be a separate show called Safe Talk. It started off as uncensored, but then we changed it to Safe Talk. It was a kind of a controversial episode. And I really enjoyed the conversation because it made us like put an uncomfortable question out there to CPP or not to CPP. Can you be successful as a payroll person without a certification, without a college degree, without this? Could you be successful in the industry in payroll? And it was a debate. It was a discussion about those things and how you do need to have continued education.
Yes.
And you need to learn and stuff like that to be successful. But Brian and I right now, again, neither one of us have our certification, but we're wildly successful in the things that we do in payroll. But some companies that look for that and require that or prefer that in their job postings, right? So it was a fascinating discussion, and we talked about the benefits and the drawbacks of either having it or not having it in the payroll profession. And Brian pushed Brian's button a little bit because some people say, if you don't have it, then you're not really legit. And so it was a good debate for us. So that was my pick for the 5th one. So that's it, man. Anything to say before you go?
Nah, man, it was a great conversation, like Walt said, and it's out there on the website. If not yet, we need to reorg the website. It'll be for free and available shortly. Something we got to. But yeah, it was a great conversation. It's an ongoing debate, and it's almost as we got into whether you need do you need a degree to do things, and do you not need a degree? Do you need the certificate? So it's like that whole debate, and yeah, man, I think it stands out as a great conversation for us, and it'll be an ongoing conversation for payrollers as we go on. Yeah, dope stuff, man. That was a great episode. Now, on to my picks, my 5 standouts. I actually got one for honorable mention. As being that Fran came up twice, I threw another one in there for good measure. My first one is episode 50 with Sylvia Korhonen. And man, she's a global payroll expert. She's a payroll transformation professional, which I honestly just learned through her what that even meant.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know still, because again, it took me a while, it's really someone who knows payroll, used to process, right? But steps into a strategy position, a planning change management position, is evaluating the payroll operations and is saying, okay, this is evaluating it, assessing what's good, what's not, and planning what the transformation needs to look like.
Yeah.
So that is it's crazy.
Yeah, she was fascinating, man. Like everything, all the wealth of knowledge and just breaking everything down, going through each steps, and the thing, it really opened our minds to the concept of payroll transformation, man. And Sylvia is a wealth of knowledge. She's been a definite asset when it comes to the podcast in general.
Oh, yeah. Man.
Like she's been a confidant for us. And having those
mentor even in some cases, man. Like just helping us and stuff. Now, one of the things that she mentioned that I take with me now as a professional is called stakeholder management. Right? And stakeholder management is crucial in payroll transformations. She categorizes the stakeholders based on their influence and interest and each initiative or program, right? So think about that. You're doing payroll transformation, your CEO needs a different category than maybe your direct report leader, because your leader's on board. Hey, we're doing this, but we got to convince the CEO differently. We got to convince the VP of ops differently. We got to convince, maybe you don't know who's a stakeholder in some organizations, and it doesn't matter titles, like whoever has those influences over what you're trying to do. The payroll manager, right? If you're a payroll transformation manager, your payroll manager is a stakeholder in this transformation. You got to manage that person. And she maps out how to deal with these stakeholders and what the strategy should be. Like if you want to talk about being intentional. So that was my first standout. So my next one was episode 51, best practices with Fran Z. Again, a standout. Again, she's just we did the first one, right? And we talked about the bankruptcy piece. Oh, by the way, that's what I wanted to say about that. She is, last time I talked to her, which is it was only a few months ago, she was still dealing with cleanup stuff with that bankruptcy.
Wow.
The bankruptcy was back in 22. And she knew a year later she was going to still need to do something. And sure enough, she was still dealing with stuff just to clean up and tighten it up. Think about how professional your professionalism is, where you're still dealing with a company you end dated with a year ago. And just to make sure that everybody was tight, because it was about W-2s and everybody getting correct W-2s at that point. So her involvement lingered on just to make sure that employees were good, or even at that point, terminated employees. So anywho, in that conversation, we saw that she was dropping so many gems. We were like, wait a minute, we're going to need to get Fran back on here. And we brought her on for just best practices. We were like, Fran, we want to hear what your best practices are.
Honestly, in my opinion, man, that could have been a little mini series that she could have done, man.
Absolutely. We got to get her back on. That's all. Because now, think about, what would be cool now? Because she was just starting a new position. And now it'd be really cool because she's gone through a whole cycle at that new position, and see what she's learned, what she's able to apply, things like that. This is her experience there. That's dope. That would be dope. We're going to have you back on, Fran, if you'll have us. But this episode 51, she went into, she says, stay open and learning from others, maintain clear and accessible documentation practices, collaborate effectively with your team, leverage technology to optimize payroll processes, and remember that continuous improvement and adaptability are key to successful payroll management.
Yes.
You're the GOAT, Fran.
Fran out. Check her out. LinkedIn, Fran Zioli.
You're the GOAT. Yep. And then, so my next standout, Anita Latank. She's episode 55. We had global payroll conversation with her. The huge call out with Anita is that she wrote really the first non-textbook payroll book. And it's how to pick your next payroll. Anita Latink spent a lot of time implementing payroll systems. And at one point she said, you know what? It's not fair that we walk into these companies with payroll professionals that may have never implemented a new system. And she called it out. She said, think about it. In your career, you might not ever implement a new system. You might implement one or two. Implementing more than one in a career is, whoa, wow, you've been really exposed. So she said, how, what's up?
I remember you always showing the book in the episodes. You referenced it a lot in different episodes. Like opening it up and like highlighting, having the flags.
I still do.
You know, that book, How to Select Your Next
even
Payroll.
Yep. You see it better now because of we don't have that green screen. So you can see it. Look, this is my reference material, man. And my this is the takeaway from her episode. Other than that, go check her book out. She also wrote another book. Her new one is Equal Pay for Equal Work. I haven't read it yet. So I'm trying to, Anita, I'm going to read it first. And then I want to have you on because I got to know what to ask. You know what I'm saying? Yes. My number one takeaway from this one is, I don't know where to put them down. Hold on. All right. Is that she says, payroll starts the moment information is entered in the HR solution. So many folks outside of payroll do not realize that. They think payroll is HR. They think HR is payroll. And they're not totally wrong, but there's two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, that data is like that seed being put into the soil, and then it's watered, cultivated, and it grows.
It's so nice. You see how nice? Because when it's bad, it's called garbage in, garbage out.
Yes.
That's the problem. When it's nice, that's what Walt said. Ooh, it's so nice. But when you ain't doing it right, garbage in, garbage out. So that was our takeaway from Anita Latink, Global Payroll Conversations, episode 55. She's already agreed to come back on the show. So I just want to read it. That's all. I just want to read the new one. And then so I can be ready for the conversation. She's a prolific thought leader in this game. So I got to be ready to talk to her.
Amazing.
Yeah. So my next one, this one is interesting because this is the first, we had such a long conversation with Adrian Resto. We didn't realize how long. Yeah. It was just, the passion that he has for payroll, the way he has internalized his impact and he persona, like it was crazy. Yeah. So for
his
him,
story, how he got into payroll.
Yes. And we just talked and talked. So this was the first time that we broke our episodes up, because early on, Gerard Hall was like, guys, your episodes are like forever. You talking for an hour and a half, cut these things down. So finally we're like, okay, let's start doing that. Let's be more intentional. Let's do that. We took Adrian's episode and we put it into 4 parts because it was just so long. But so it's episode 58 through 61 or his episode. The major takeaway for him is that payroll is life. Payroll is life. And I'm like, because he leads with it, it's like on his LinkedIn and everything. Yes. And I'm like, so beforehand, I was like, all right, man, I don't know. You exaggerate. This is exaggerating a bit. But once you listen to why he says that, right? He says, Brian, you need payroll. You need money right? When you get paid, what do you do with that money? Oh, I pay my mortgage. I feed my family.
Your paycheck is how you live, bro.
It's how you live. Payroll is life. Payroll is everything. So when he's put that, I was blown away, man. Mm-hmm. I was blown away about that, just how he just internalized that. I don't even understand. He's just a fabric of payroll is life, man. And it really changed my perspective on how we do this, what we do for things. So that was another one. Another great takeout was Ian Giles, episode 65, The State of Payroll with Ian Giles. Another veteran in payroll, powerhouse, rock star across the pond in payroll. And the big takeaway there was payroll is difficult. Why aren't we saying that loud enough? Yes. Why aren't payrollers saying this loud enough? Payroll is difficult. Stop trying to make it look easy. It's not easy. Just because you make it look easy doesn't mean it's easy.
I think one thing about Ian, that, like, to your point about why aren't we speaking up, and I'm really glad in the episode that he emphasized that. Sorry for cutting you off there.
No, you're good.
I'm really glad that he emphasized that, because we should speak up as payrollers, because we have so much power. We have influence And we should tell people about the stuff that's not right. We should tell people about the stuff that they can do better. And Ian really, I left the episode with Ian feeling more empowered. Let's like payrollers have so much power, man. So Ian was freaking awesome, man.
Yep. Agreed. Yeah. And then, of course, bonus. Here's my bonus, because we did an episode with Tabitha Brown, America's mom. And this was the first episode, really, that we started really understanding why payroll is life and how payroll is life and connecting it. Wait a minute. We can have payroll conversations with anyone. It's not just payrollers. Not that we're going to stop doing that, folks. Please believe. But we can have a payroll conversation with anyone, because guess what? In America, you're either getting a check or cutting a check. So either way, we're going to have a conversation. And what got me started is I saw Tabitha on Earn Your Leisure. And she said, she told them, this is the first time Tabitha started talking about finances, right? Because she's been on many mediums and outlets, and you hear her story. What an amazing story. But in this conversation, she started talking about being the boss. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. We talking about finances and things like that. And something she said was, I trust you, but I don't love. No, I'm sorry. I love you, but I don't trust you. I love you, but I don't trust you. And she was referring to her business manager. And I thought it was just, whoa, wow, that's transparent. That's being very clear cut. And what she meant by that was very serious. And she broke it down in the episode on all that. But what I take away from that episode mostly is when we asked her at the end, well, what would you talk? What do you feel about money matters? What advice would you give? She said, money matters, but not more than us.
Yeah, that was an amazing episode, man.
Profound, right? Because we get caught up on chasing the dollar and chasing the money. And you just posted something recently that money's a tool, right?
Yeah,
oh,
it is.
Money's not the goal. Freedom is. That's what you said.
Money is a tool. Money's right. Not the goal. Freedom is the goal.
Freedom is the goal. And that's right. And she is free. She is free. And it's giving me the chills, man. I'm so proud of her. And of course, it's special to me. I went to middle school with Tabitha Brown. It's just so a lifetime ago. We known each other for so long, and we've seen each other's we've been there for each other's like careers and progress, watching each other, supporting each other through social media and things like that. Like, it's been a lot, right? And I've been on those FaceTimes with her, or not FaceTime, but that live when she went live and there wasn't a lot of people there. And I'm like, hey girl, and she's like, hey. So and now forget about it. There's millions of followers.
Think about it. She's been on Kevin Hart's podcast. She's been on Club Shay Shay. She's been on all Good Morning America, GMA. Like, she's been everywhere.
For her to Barrymore, Sherry, like everywhere, if it's any and every major outlet out there, she's been on it.
Go check her out.
Go check her out. And just again, money matters, but not more than us. And that was dope. And that was a great way to just close this show or this segment rather. And I'm so happy to share these moments, and look out for the 100 episode summary. That thing is just, I'm so excited about that document and putting that out there for everyone to have for reference. And it's been such a cool exercise and project for me and Walt to go through, to just comb back through these 100 episodes. And I always tell folks, this is a cheat code for me, man. This makes me better at my job. My job makes me better at this. Man, thank you all. I hope that we continue to bring you a great product.
We will, because we're gonna stay on point. Yes. Like Brian said, thank you for listening, and thank you for all your support. And it's just not about us. It's not about us. It's about the payroll community. That's why we started this. Not because we wanted to get famous, not because we wanted to. It was like you said, would you say it was a labor of love?
It's a labor of love, yeah.
Sure. And that's why we're doing this. And before we end it, we're going to go into our safe talk segment to end the episode. And as we reflect on the past 100 episodes, share if there was ever a moment where you thought about quitting. I'll start it off, man. Yeah, I'll be honest. There were moments where life, and I remember conversations we had, and it was just, I was going through a hard time in a past relationship. I was going through financial struggles and like the economy, everything was happening. Work stuff was hard. Everything was just like coming in. I was just like, man, we were doing the app, the podcast, all 4 different shows, and everything was just so much, man, trying to maintain it. And it was just a lot. I was just like, man, can we keep this up? I don't know if you ever did, but I'm just being real.
And and I appreciate that. Yeah. I don't think I ever thought about quitting. It's something that that really sparked something inside. I know the moments you mean, and I definitely thought that we were going to have some rough times, or it could have been a rough conversations to have and whatnot, but we bounced out of it. There were times I never thought about quitting, but there were times where my head may have not been in the game, and I was distracted by life things as well, and just not focusing enough. But look, every time we were faced with challenge, I think we rebounded well, stepped up to the plate, pushed through it. We created more. We created organization around things that helped. Like, we started to meet more, right? That was one of the things that helped us. Like, at one point, we were just doing once a week, few hours, and that was it. And then once things started to get a little heavy and a lot of things were going on, we were like, okay, wait, we need to meet like twice during the week, even if it's just for 15, 30 minutes, just to get organized, just to plan, be intentional, to be more intentional. And I think that changed the game for us. So there were definitely moments where it was tough, but I never wanted to quit.
The thought, I never wanted to, but the thought came in my head.
Yeah, I know.
Thought about, this is hard. Should we continue doing it in this way or whatever?
Yeah,
we had to add.
Look, being honest, you gotta be honest, right? And that was one of the things that we pushed, is being radically transparent, which is a tough thing to do. It's very hard for folks to be transparent. It's opening up, right? Exposing yourself.
Yeah, and I think that by us doing that and sharing these moments, it may help somebody else who's currently in that season of their business, their career, their life. And hey, it may be rough right now, but don't quit. I know it feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, but you push through. Don't give up. That stat that you shared at the beginning of the episode, that most podcasts end after 3 episodes because they quit, because they don't get a following. They only get one.
I didn't get 100,000 listeners.
Think about how we started. Bro, we didn't have that many listens in the beginning. We didn't have that many downloads. We would maybe have one, and maybe our friends and family, or it might be us.
It would have been enough.
Yeah, right. We were listening to it, and that's how it started up. But we did not quit, because we are passionate about this. So if you're in the middle of that right now, whatever aspect it is, professionally, personally, whatever it is, don't quit.
Push through.
Push through. You could take a step back. We've taken a step back. We've taken breaks. Okay, hey, we're not going to record for 2 weeks. We can take a break or whatever. The holidays are here. Okay, we need to be whatever we had to do. Find somebody that's going to encourage you. Also, chin check you. I've been venting to Brian, and he will either give me a soft answer or he'll give me tough love. He'll be like, hey, well, come on, man, chin up. Let's go. And it'd be vice versa. Come on, Brian. Let's go. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, you need somebody in your corner, in your circle, that's going to help motivate you and push you to go through and hold you accountable to go through those rough patches, because they are going to come. Absolutely. They are going to come. It's a part of the process.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And I think that, like how we say, keep going, keep growing, keep learning, but most of all, keep going. And that's been big for us, just pushing through. And I had a boss at one time. He said the light at the end of the tunnel is not a train. So keep going. Keep
Hope
going.
It's not a train.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
all right, folks.
Thanks for taking this journey with us, and we'll see you on the other side. We love you. Peace.
As we near the end of this episode, we'd like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to you for listening. Before we sign off, here are a couple of quick things. Don't forget to follow It's About Payroll on LinkedIn and It's About Your Paycheck on Facebook and TikTok. We love engaging with our audience, and you'll be able to receive exclusive updates and behind-the-scenes content. Thank you for being a part of our payroll community, and thank you for being a part of this journey with us. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing,
and most importantly, keep going.